Welcome to What Do You Say, the podcast that peels back the layers of remarkable individuals to reveal their extraordinary sides and their incredible lives. I'm your host, Frank Termini, and I'm absolutely thrilled to embark on this journey with you. The podcast name's What Do You Say, but that's not how it's said.
How do you say it?
We say.
What do you say?
We say.
What do you say?
We say.
What do you say?
You got it. We say.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to What Do You Say? My name's Andrew Termini, your host, as always, Frank Termini.
Frank Termini.
If you like what we're doing here, please like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. And remember, leave a comment. We would like to know what people give us some feedback. And I'm gonna kick it to you, Frank, and we can.
All right, we're here and here.
What did I leave out?
We're nothing, but we got a new intro coming soon.
We do have a new intro coming soon.
You guys are gonna.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good one. Today we got John Monk. John, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So we got entrepreneur, tattoo artist for what, like 30 years?
33.
33-year tattoo artist. Healy & Gracie brown belt. Has his own Jujutsu academy off Antioch and Inglewood Road. It's let's see how got about a year, right?
Yeah, we just passed the year mark, yeah.
Past the year mark. So
reality TV
star. Yeah, we got that too.
Don't miss that.
Yeah,
and you know what? Really, like an overcomer.
absolutely.
An overcomer, for sure. I mean, been through some shit, put himself through some shit. Life dealt you a tough deck, and you know, I always respected how you dealt with that, took care of your family, take care of your family, you know, help take care of your brother's family. You know, that always resonated with me. So, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
thanks
guys for
for doing
having
it again, because
we've done this once before, and
jacked up the audio.
well, we jacked the entire thing, the audio and the video. I'm pretty sure. Like,
Was it all of it?
I mean, we had bits and pieces of shit. It was you couldn't even paste it together.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, you couldn't even paste it together and make a decent episode. And John was one of our first that we recorded.
Yeah, and we got to still get Travis Conley back on. There's two that we jacked up, him and Travis.
Yeah,
I want to get Travis back on too.
Okay, we'll make it count.
yeah,
Yeah, right,
Make
right.
it count.
Yeah, this is our last shot at catching greatness.
Here, listen, if we jacked it up again, I wouldn't even ask him.
No,
I would tell him to go make fun of us, tell everybody we suck.
yeah.
And we're not even asking you back on now.
Yeah, you just have to lure me in with something cool. A sandwich or something.
So, born and raised in KC.
Born in Seattle.
Seattle.
Yep.
I love Seattle. So I went to Seattle on a conference in October, and the weather was gorgeous. It was sunny the whole time. The food's unbelievable. I love Seattle. Yeah.
Well, we left, I think I was 1. So I was just born there, and then we came right.
Have you ever been back?
No.
You got to go.
I would love to.
Honestly, you need to go. I mean, we went in the fall. It was gorgeous. Have you ever been? Oh, man, they got that Pike's Market. The food's great.
Really?
Everything. Oh, I can't say enough good things about Seattle. I really enjoyed it.
Were you in the city or you?
It's right in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
I was there for the private practice section they had a big physical therapy conference down there. Gianna was just a baby. Man, here, Dad was still alive. So Gianna couldn't have been a year yet, and we took her with us.
I'll be honest with you. There ain't one city I want to go hang out in. I'm not a city guy. If I'm going out of town, I'm going to some place off the grid.
Well, I get that too.
Yeah, if I'm going out of town, I'm looking for somewhere to train.
Yeah.
That's what my vacations are all based around where I can train.
You go to Florida.
That's where I always go.
Yeah.
Miami.
Hanato.
Helian.
Him too. Yeah. Who else is down there? There's a lot of really good guys down there.
I just go down there and train with Helian and Ken and all those guys. And
You like Miami though?
it's not really. I mean, I do like Miami. I like the weather, but I like the group of friends that I have down there.
Yeah. I don't like the city though.
It's really expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like when I go to Florida, I like St. Pete Beach. I like Destin. You know, Destin's unbelievable.
Panama.
Never been to Panama.
I love Panama.
It's nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, South Beach. I mean, I always stay with Ken, and he lives like literally. You walk out his front door, and it's 2 blocks, and the ocean's right there.
That's pretty badass.
So it's I stay with Ken. We go to the beach. We freaking train. We eat awesome sushi.
Yeah.
And you know, and then we build tattoo machines or whatever he has in store. You know, so I really like Miami, but Ken's one of my best friends, so I just like the people down there too. The little group of friends that I have down there are great. You know.
So you move here, and then you go to school. Where are you, like Antioch or?
Antioch Middle School. Went to Eastgate. I mean, my mom liked to move every time the lease was up, so I think I've been to just about every school.
And is it just you and your brother?
Yeah. Well, I had a sister, but she was a little bit older. So
Okay. So your sister. So it's your sister, and then Josh is younger, right?
yeah,
How much younger is Josh than you?
13 months.
Oh gosh, you were Irish twins.
Yep.
You're like he and I. We were
16 months.
Yep.
17 and a half or something like that. I think mom
I
used.
thought it was 16.
Well, shit, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not going to do the math in my head, but I think we're same.
Yeah.
Boat.
Yeah. So, and then so now, I mean, you're high level athlete, right? You're competing in all kinds of different jiu-jitsu tournaments. Are you mostly trying to compete in the worlds and the pans, or are you competing just about anything?
You know, since the opening of the academy, I haven't had time to do anything. You know, I think I did one tournament since we've opened.
Really?
I did the Miami Open. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
How'd you do?
I got double gold.
So double gold. Tell me what you're talking. So did you do the absolute too?
Yeah. I did the absolute. I got gold in my division. I got silver in the open weight, and then I got gold in no-gi.
No-gi. Got it. So it's gi and no-gi. Mm-hmm. What's the open weight? What do you mean by that?
Okay, so you have your age division, which is for us. Well, now it's Masters 5.
Right.
You know, but at the time it was Masters 4, and so you have all the weight classes. So the first, second, and third place of every weight class gets to go against each other to see who's the best in the division.
Right.
But you got to get on the podium to be in open weight.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So you're, what are you, 50?
Yeah.
So then what's it, 40 to 50? Or 40 to 49?
40 to 45, 40, and then from there to 50. Or, no, 49. 49, because I'm in Masters 5 now, and it's 50 to 55.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's every 5 years.
And then so they'll do it by age and weight.
Age, weight, and rank, and belt.
Right. Obviously, yeah, right. So what are you, about 185?
195.
195?
Depends on how often I frequent Duck Donuts. It fluctuates.
Ray's.
You know, yeah, Ray's too.
How many
Well,
classes
they know you
are
by
there?
name when you go into Ray's.
Oh, I love Victoria.
Isn't she the greatest?
Yeah, she is.
Have you ever met Tom?
No.
You never met her husband? Yeah, he's a great guy. Real good friend of mine. What were you getting ready to say, Drew?
How many classes? So you said 50 to 55 is class 5. Is there a class 6?
Yeah.
Oh, there's probably guys in their 60s
Yeah,
and
Ken just turned 69. So
Oh, gosh.
He's got to be Master 7.
And he's still competing.
Oh, yeah.
No shit.
Yep.
Wow. I kind of figured it was a young man's game.
it is too.
It is, but, you know, what do you do when you get older?
Yeah.
Well,
Just
yeah.
stop.
No, but that's
What do you do when you're old and you hate golf?
Yeah. You choke people.
Put on your pajamas and you choke people, right? Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, for sure. So, as a kid, you weren't an athlete. You were.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you define athlete. You know, like, remember, I didn't play
you were a
say-
motocross guy.
skateboard.
Skateboarder,
Used to
okay.
ride, like, we always were out riding skateboards.
Here, let me tell you something. I watched these skaters, that Tony Hawk. Mm-hmm. Dude, those guys are athletic.
Yeah.
Dude, he's 50 and, on a half pipe still just killing it.
They're so athletic and they have so good balance.
And he takes a fall. I mean, if he takes a fall, and I'm 44. I mean, I take a fall like that, I'm probably breaking something.
Well, the concrete got a lot harder over the years, it seems like.
But hold on. I think they practice falling.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they're seasoned at how to fall, but still, when you take a fall like that from 20 feet in the air on a half pipe on your knees, there's only a few ways that's low impact.
I mean, they're very graceful.
You know what I'm saying?
And as a kid, I used to always try to do it, and then I couldn't do it, and I threw my skateboard away, and
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, we were kind of the outcasts of, like the high school or whatever. So it was kind of like that just, you know, and then the whole punk rock scene, you know, like that's the kind of music that we listened to, and it was, you know, kind of just like a little group of people, and that's just what we did, you know. It was
Santa Cruz a version of a skateboard?
Yeah.
Back then, but the boards were totally different. Man.
yeah, they were flat.
They were just totally different. They were heavier.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember those skaters, those skateboards, even back in the 80s. Those
were
were
badass.
$300 skateboards.
I wish we still had them because let me tell you, the paint and the artistic work on them, the vintage artistic work on that shit was badass.
Yeah,
the
how about,
whole backboard.
Like the main guy, what was for Zorlak? I remember Pusshead, badass artist. I think he ended up doing a bunch of stuff for Metallica.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, like all he did. Man, that guy was such a great artist. That's like back then is when really my art started to develop because I would look at these designs and I would want to draw stuff, you know, and I'd try to draw my own pro model. And
So when did you start drawing?
oh, when I was a little kid, I don't remember not. You know?
Really?
Yeah, because like that's just what we did.
Now, was that one of those deals where you could always just play, John, or did you have to get taught? Did you take classes?
No, never took a class. My uncle was an artist. My grandfather was an artist. So I was kind of always around it, you know, and we was always, you know, drawing on paper. You know, it was just something to do, I guess, pass the time and to be creative, try to make something cool, you know. Always liked skulls. Always. I can't remember not drawing a skull. You know?
Really? Mm-hmm. And so you grow up drawing and then you transition. How old are you when you transition? What makes you think, hey, I want to be a tattoo artist?
Well, I remember, and this is so crazy to me because these kids nowadays, I don't know what I want to do. Even adults, I don't know what I want to do, you know, and I always knew that I was going to be an artist. I always knew it, you know, and back then, remember like the Sunday paper, the Garfield strip?
Yeah.
Dude, like that was like what I wanted to do. I wanted to, like, my goal in life was to have a cartoon strip, you know, and then maybe do some comic books. And then I remember I saw my cousin, and he had a Greg Irons dragon on his arm. And I was 14 years old, and I remember in my head, I was like, that's what I'm going to do. You know, because all the tattoos, like my dad had some tattoos, and they were jailhouse tattoos, and they just looked like crap, you know. But he had this tattoo that was beautiful artwork. And I was like, whoa, that's what I want to do. And I kind of just start making plans from 14 years old how I was going to do this, you know, and try and start, like, how do I learn how to tattoo? How do I open? And it
So what was the process?
getting hooked up with somebody that knew about it, you know, because back then, like, there was like one tattoo magazine. It was called Tattoo, and it was all bikers and naked chicks, and there wasn't really that many tattoos in the tattoo magazine. It just wasn't like it is now.
Right.
You know, it was a certain group of individuals that got tattooed. It was definitely not mainstream. It definitely was not cool, and everybody definitely didn't have tattoos.
Right.
You know, so it was a certain type of individual. That's what drew me into the whole tattoo culture, was the people that were getting tattooed. They were kind of like their own little society, you know, like if I have a tattoo and you have a tattoo, like, we're fucking cool, man. Like, we're friends. And now it's like when I see people with tattoos, I walk the other way. I'm like, I don't even want to talk to you. Right. You know, like, but back then it was just like you had to be a character. Like, you were cool, interesting person.
Or the dumb question that they always ask: how many tattoos do you have?
Yeah, I'm like, one.
Yeah, your entire body.
They're all connected, buddy.
Yeah.
They're all connected.
So was there is there a license you have to carry?
Absolutely.
Was there one back then when you started?
Actually, I think that
I'm trying to think 33 years ago, so that had to be like 1990.
it was 92, 91, 92 when we opened up A1. Okay, and then we opened up a second location in Independence on Nolan Road.
I remember that's where I got my first tattoo.
Yeah, I remember Nolan Road was the spot.
Yeah.
You know? And actually, it was crazy because Missouri had no laws on tattooing, but Independence did. So I had to get licensed through Independence, and nobody else, all the other tattooers, like, it's crazy, you got to get a tattoo license. I'm like, yeah, well, we're in Independence. So actually, I think that we were probably the first ones in Missouri to get licensed because nobody else you didn't have to do it.
So is it the business that gets licensed, or was it each individual artist has to get licensed?
Both.
Both. And then when you started, you didn't need a license at all.
No.
There was no regulations.
None.
You just say, here, I got a tattoo gun. I'm going to tattoo you.
Yep.
Okay.
Which is crazy when you think about it, but it ain't much different now.
So then so at what point did it transition?
When they start figuring out they can make money. When the states start going, oh man, look at all these tattooers.
You can force them to renew the license and
Yes.
pay for it and all that shit.
Absolutely.
And then, so then once that happened, did you get grandfathered in, or did everyone have to now have a license?
Yeah, we just we got a license, you know, but it was different then. You just had to fill out a piece of paper, and you got your license. And then as time went on, they started making all these new, like now you got to do bloodborne pathogens, you got to do CPR, you got to do all this, 50 tattoos, 300 hours, like all this crazy.
Do you have to have continuing education?
I don't think so, not right now.
No.
But when I got a license, it was just basically give me $100 and fill your name out here.
Right.
But they, it's definitely.
So how has your work evolved over 30 years?
Well, anytime that you do something, if you're not progressing, then you're staying the same. And if you stay the same, people are going to pass you. So I just, if you're the type of, you see it all the time, people that like think that their stuff is so awesome that it can't get better, and it's just like it's their God's gift to whatever they're doing. Those are the people that like I just don't have anything in common with them. Every time I do anything, a painting, a drawing, a tattoo, I'm always critiquing it and trying to figure out like, okay, if I do it the next time I do this subject matter, how do I make it better?
Right.
And a lot of people just don't think like that. They don't think that like, how can I make it better? But like
No, I agree with you. And honestly, I would even go as far as saying, if you're not progressing, you're regressing. You're not even staying the same.
well, in this world now where these kids are just like, man, it's definitely not like when I came up where you had to know how to build machines. You had to know how to build your own needles. You had to know how to mix your own pigment. Now it's like you go on YouTube and learn how to tattoo.
Right.
You don't have to serve an apprenticeship. You don't have to do any of that. Like you just, I'm going to go on eBay and order a starter kit.
So what would you say about Ed Hardy? I know you're a fan of Ed Hardy's.
Yeah, Ed Hardy was, single-handedly made tattooing what it is today.
What would you say?
T-shirt guy?
Huh?
The T-shirt guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a tattoo artist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit.
He was the first one to go to Japan and study under the Japanese and then come back and do Japanese work in America.
He's had cool T-shirts.
Oh, that guy is freaking stud.
So that was really where he's specialized. Because when I think of Ed Hardy, I think of his single pieces.
Yeah, like the American traditional.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he killed that too, but he was the first one to. And his style started evolving. Like he would take the American traditional designs and then do the Japanese background, but do them how the Japanese were doing. Like before that, people were just getting hand-sized tattoos and putting them all over their body. And he's the one that really looked at the Japanese and were like, whoa, man, like they're taking a body part and filling it in with the whole picture.
Yeah.
They're not taking a tattoo and sticking it somewhere on your body. They're looking at it different. Like they're looking at the body part as the canvas, not the tattoo, and where can we put this tattoo on your body. So just a different way of looking at the canvas.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess the contour of the body,
Yes.
too. Everyone's going to be different. So
When you first started tattooing, was it pretty much, it wasn't all single needle at that time, was it?
Single needle was kind of phased out in the early 90s, and everything was like the fattest line you could do.
Okay.
So people wanted it to look like you did it with a Sharpie.
right.
Yeah.
So when Ed Hardy started tattooing, he was probably all single needle.
It was single needle. Then actually, Ed Hardy started doing fat lines first, and then the single needle movement came into play, and then everything kind of melded together.
Okay.
So who do you, like, if you're looking at tattoo artists, who do you think the top three are?
Oh God, that's hard to even say, because now it's like, it's not like back when we were kids where this guy's the best, this guy's the best, this guy's the best. It's more like once you can do a tattoo perfectly and put the pigment into the skin without damaging the skin, then it's whose style do you like?
Right.
Whose artwork do you like the best? Because how can you take a piece of, like, how could you look at a tribal sleeve, which I don't care for, and then a Japanese, a Japanese sleeve, and say which one's better. They're both, if they're both done perfectly, then which one's better? It's just what's your personal preference on the art,
Right?
But these kids now there's so many people that are so good. I mean, remember back in Kansas, just in Kansas City back in the 90s, where you knew who the top 5 tattooers are. Back then.
The only one I knew of was you.
Well, being a tattoo artist, like I knew who was doing the good work. Now it's like there's so many shops and so many badasses that I don't even know their names.
Right.
I mean, I used to be up on and knew everybody that tattooed. Now I don't know one person in all these shops. Sometimes shops I don't even know one person. But again, if you haven't been tattooing over 20 years, I probably don't know you.
I think Glendon's been around for a while.
Yeah, he has.
And his work is badass.
Yeah, he's great.
Glendon's good. Here, even who's the other guy? The big dude, Noah.
Noah's good too.
Yeah,
You
both
know?
of them. Both
Absolutely.
of them. I enjoy going in there sometimes, just watching them.
Yeah, just shooting the shit.
I like watching people get tattooed.
Especially when it's in a real painful spot.
I am for all the tattoos I have, I am such a pussy. I am so bad. I go in there all lathered up with frickin' numbing cream and shit.
Right, it makes your skin all hard so you can't get the pigment in there. Yeah.
No, I am not tough enough to do it.
I think now,
And Michelle goes in there, she's like, sits there and falls asleep,
yeah.
and I'm sitting there sweating when I do it. So,
I mean, John, so would you say that the evolution of tattooing has probably gotten to a point to where now it's beyond just the actual laying in the ink, it's the artwork and the intricacies of the artwork?
Well, yeah, because back, like when I started, it was difficult just to make a good tattoo.
Right.
Because, like I said, you had to build your own needles. And if you built them wrong, then you're tearing
work was
somebody's
gonna look like
skin up.
shit.
Yeah, you're tearing somebody up, and we mixed our own pigment. So if you mixed the pigment was hard to get in the skin, then you're overworking the skin and you're making, hamburger out of somebody. If your machine wasn't tuned properly, it's not putting the pigment in there it's not putting it in there, and you're tearing somebody up. So it just, when the way that the industry has evolved, it's so easy to get good equipment now that you don't have to worry about that. You're just worried about doing the artwork.
Yeah.
So you start with, so when you first start tattooing, where are you tattooing out of?
I first started tattooing out of my house. And then my buddy said he could get me an apprenticeship in Dallas, Texas. So I had a 68 VW van. Starter didn't work and no reverse. packed that bad boy up and drove to Dallas at 40 miles per hour the whole way.
Oh, shit.
And then I got there and I, start working for Phil Fairweather. And I planned on staying there. I didn't plan on coming back to Kansas.
You're going to stay in Dallas?
I was going to stay there. I love Dallas. I really like Dallas. I roommates with my friend Fred that got, helped me a lot bringing me into the tattoo world. And Brent's sister was my girlfriend at the time was going to have our baby. So I came back, and my plan was to just bring him to Dallas. We're going to move to Dallas because I already had a job there, and I came back, and every freaking body wanted tattoos. So it was like after 2 months of every day, all day, out of the house tattoo, and I was like, man, maybe I should just open a shop. So then I got the building on North Oak. Remember by
There's by liquor store.
no, it was by, what was it called? It was, remember Checkers? It was Checkers,
Yes.
and then it was, gosh, what's the name of that bar? But it burned down right across from the animal hospital, right on North Oak by Jiffy Lube. And it used to be Long John Silver's right across the street.
Gosh darn it.
What was that bar?
It's a bank now. It's a UMB bank, isn't it?
No.
UMB bank's right across the street from it.
Yes.
What the hell is Margaritas is right over there.
And Margaritas is right across the street, two buildings down.
And there's a bar. Gosh darn it. What is the name of that bar? It's really good. The food's good.
Yeah. But that's where we opened, and we just bought the one we got the one side, and then after like a couple, like I think 6 months, it was getting so busy. We rented out the next side.
So when you say we, it's you and who?
It was me and Fred.
Did you share the same building as CNC Drums?
Where was that at?
Is it called the Hideout?
No, not that far down. Back up towards Revelation.
Oh, God darn it!
By the gas station.
I can't think of the name of it.
I don't remember. I can't.
So who is Fred? Who?
Watson. That's who helped me get into tattooing.
So is he tattooing or is he just a money guy?
No, he was tattooing. He was.
So you and him both start A1. Mm-hmm. And then you start in a little space, and then you guys expanded it in the same building. You just took over another suite.
Yep.
And then it's A1 for how long?
It still is A1.
What, did you sell it?
Well, when we ended up opening another shop on Nolan Road.
Which was called Revelation.
No, at first it was called A1 South. And then when me and Fred split the businesses up, he kept the one up north and I kept the one on Nolan Road, and I called it Kingpin.
Right.
That's right.
Kingpin.
Yeah.
That's where I got my first. It was called Kingpin.
Yeah, because it was crazy because I had a business card that said A1 Tattoo, and it said, come get your, it was a black cat with a crown smoking a cigar, and it said, come get your Kingpin tattoo from John at A1.
Right.
So when we split the business up, I was like, yeah, I'll just call it Kingpin, so it was pretty cool. But Fred just recently passed. He got cancer.
Oh.
Yeah, he had started Jujutsu, got a blue belt, and then that cancer took him. Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, horrible.
So so when you and Fred opened up A1 North and South,
Yep.
you split it. You take South, he takes North.
Yep.
South becomes Kingpin. Mm-hmm. When's Revelation come in?
After I sold Kingpin and came up north.
What did you sell it for? Why didn't you just keep it and do both?
Because Independence was like starting to go, downhill, and
Right.
the area was going downhill, and it was like just a whole different, like, remember when we were kids and that was the strip, everybody went there.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like a lot of gunplay, and, I just didn't like that area.
Nolan Road in the early 90s,
Yeah.
mid 90s,
Late
Nolan
80s
Road
too.
was great.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go down to Nolan Road
Yeah, it
and
was-
there was a party all the time.
Absolutely.
My freshman, sophomore year in high school. Now, by the time I was a junior, and even North Oak, though,
Yeah,
you
North
could
Oak
cruise
was
up and down
jamming, too.
North Oak too.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as cool as Nolan.
No.
Nolan was fun.
Yeah, and a dude just, the guy that owned another tattoo shop, he, offered me a bunch of money, and I didn't think that it was worth what he offered me, so I was like, cool,
So he had
like, peace out, you can have it.
he had another tattoo shop,
Yeah.
and he wanted yours. Where was his other one at?
In Midtown.
Midtown,
Westport.
Okay.
So a tattoo artist that comes and works for you in your shop, how do you screen them? I mean,
Well, the tattoo community is not that big, like you know somebody that knows them, or hey, you screen them, you just you want to see their portfolio, you want to see what they're doing, you want to talk to some references, who they worked for, if I don't know, but the guys that work for me they've been there for 20 plus years.
so they're all seasoned.
Oh yeah,
You mean to tell me the guys, all the people that work for you have been there that long?
yeah.
So what do you do? They just rent the booth, or do you take a percentage of what they do?
It's like the percentage, it makes it easier, and it's a better deal for them.
Yeah. So
And you keep them there because having turnover like that would suck,
Oh,
especially
it's
in that
horrible.
community.
how many people you have working for you?
12.
You got 12 artists? Mm-hmm. How many are there at one time?
4 or 5.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay.
On the weekends, they're all there.
Really?
Yeah.
You got 12 boots. Mm-hmm. Shit.
How big is the space, John?
Not big enough. Everybody cramped in there. Yeah, because we had to make the lobby bigger because we'd have freaking 30 people in there waiting. So we just I've been every couple of years we remodel to try to make more space, But now I'm to the point where I'm going to have to do something with downstairs. Because I got that whole downstairs that we have motorcycles and bikes parked down there. And,
So you rent upstairs and downstairs?
yeah. And downstairs is just our storage, so I'm going to eventually have to.
Well, you could probably get a storage unit
Yeah.
and then open
it's
that
cool
up.
to have the hot rods and motorcycles down there. You just
That is cool.
tinker with them.
Yeah.
when it's slow,
Right.
But yeah, we'll see what happens.
12 people paying you rent. That's good.
Hell
And then,
yeah.
and then how many tattoos you do a week?
A week?
Yeah.
5. I do one a day.
One a day.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
How many hours?
2 to 3.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I try not to, I got other things going on, and I've been doing this for a long time, so it's, one a day is all I can do. So I got Ronan, I got to pick him up from school.
How many kids you got?
4.
How for what age ranges?
30. We got Madison, she's 30. We got Layla, she's 17. We got Boss, he's 16. And we have Ronan, he's 9.
So do they all live in Kansas City?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
so
good.
Layla and my daughter, Layla just had a baby. So her and the baby are at my house, and Ronan's at my house. Boss comes over whenever
Layla's how old?
17.
Okay, so Layla, and then how old's the 30-year? I mean, what's the 30-year-old's name?
Madison.
Madison, Layla, Boss, Ronan.
Yeah.
Boss is 16. No. Now, where did the 16 and the 17-year-old go to school?
I don't know. With their mom, wherever that. I don't know what.
So do they live in They do live in Kansas City, you said.
Yeah, but it's not north of the river. I don't know.
South?
Yeah, I don't know what the name of the school is.
Okay, and then what's Madison do?
Well, the last time I talked to her, she was managing some apartment complexes or something.
I have a friend of mine's wife who does that.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And then Ronan is with you.
Ronan's with me.
Yeah.
So, John, tell us about like the time that it took to grind it out to get to where your business is at today, because that's not an easy path.
The tattoo shop or the gym?
Well, let's go to the tattoo shop.
Okay, so the tattoo shop, like people, they don't get it. They don't understand it. Like, it's not how it is today. Tattooing was a completely different animal in the 90s. Like I was saying, it wasn't popular. Like people just didn't, like now it's like not even a question of do you have a tattoo or not. It's what do you have?
Yeah.
Everybody's got a freaking tattoo now.
Right.
Back then it was completely different. So it wasn't like the last 10 or 15 years where, you could make a decent living. It was, for the first 5 or 6 years of owning that business, it really didn't make a lot of money at all. I was just doing it because I loved it so much.
Right. How many hours a day were you tattooing then?
12, 13 hours.
Really?
Every day, 6 days a week, yeah.
No shit.
Yep.
So at what point did you notice, John, that the dynamics of the business were changing and you're getting this probably significant influx of clients?
I'll tell you exactly when it was. Miami Ink.
Really?
When tattoos start getting on the television, everything changed. Because now it's not this, like weird, mystical thing anymore. Now it's like, now all of a sudden, all the NBA players got sleeves. All the NFL players got sleeves. Before, think about it, man. It was just rock stars.
Yeah.
It was just rock stars. Now it's everybody. And you start seeing it on TV. Then Miami Ink came out. Then it was like, now it's... You got to figure, all these kids that were 5, 6 years old watching that show turned 18.
As soon as they turned 18.
Bam. It was a whole generation watching that TV show.
Man.
You
But I see more young kids with tattoos. I mean, you're right, 100%. Sleeves are like pretty much common at this point.
I mean, face tattoos are now.
They really are.
I go into the freaking grocery store and see people with face tattoos, and I'm like, man, I remember when I got Boss's name put on my face, and even the tattooers were like, don't do it, man. Don't do it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I'm like, it's my son, And they were trying to talk me out of it. Now it's like it's not even cool anymore because everybody else has it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it just evolved from like, okay, sleeves were socially acceptable. And then, one tattoo socially acceptable, sleeves socially acceptable, and then hands and neck.
Dude, now it's like these kids don't even have any tattoos. They have tattoos on their hands, neck, and face. And they don't even have anywhere else. I'm like, poser.
Which is crazy to me, right?
I would never do that.
No way.
Like, I want to get this finished, I just don't have time to go do it.
Right.
That's my thing.
And
Well, it
you're a
blows
huge
my
pussy.
mind. It blows my mind that these freaking parents come in and want to sign for their 16-year-old, and they're like, yeah, like where you want to get it? Oh, on my hand. I'm like, what is wrong? You fucking need to get slapped.
Yeah.
You know, like what the fuck is wrong? with
Okay,
you?
so let me ask you this. As a tattoo artist, someone who has done exceptionally well in the space, what are your thoughts of young kids prior to the age of 18 getting tattooed? Where would you let your own do it?
Of course, because my own have been around the business their whole life.
Okay.
But with that being said, I don't like it. I don't. Well, we also come from. We're fucking old now. It's not like it was. When it just isn't. You're not gonna probably not get hired because you have a tattoo on your forearm now. But when we were kids, or when we were coming up and we were in our early 20s, you're getting discriminated against.
Right, you could, yeah, for sure.
Now that's kind of gone, and I always said it coming up. I said, watch, guys, when our grandparents' generation die off, tattoos are going to be okay. And that's what happened.
I've been a physical therapist for 18 years. I've been sleeved for, I don't know, 10?
Yeah.
Maybe 10?
Yeah.
Never had a patient say a word to me about it.
And
you could see him on my chest. You could see it here. This whole arm is never had a patient.
I got a Grim Reaper on my left arm, part of the sleeve, and you never hear anybody complain about me giving their grandfather CPR when I'm
right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's not. I think that it's, for me, it's not so much that, for one, like a 16-year-old gets tattooed. By the time they're 26 years old, the tattoo's 10 years old, and it's not looking so hot anymore, and you're still a young kid.
Right.
But it's when you're 16, you don't know what's cool. And you get some dumb shit.
Oh, yeah.
You get some dumb, stupid tattoos. I mean, think about what you thought was cool when you were 16.
But like for me, like all my tattoos, they have I have a very special meaning to all of my tattoos. None of my
Dude, I have zero meaning to any of mine.
Yeah.
None.
No.
I just picked out something I thought was cool. And that goes that crazy, Frank, because when you think about it, I always thought about this. Why do people get tattoos? Why does somebody come in here and pay me a bunch of money to hurt them? And I'm like, I just like, what is going on with this? And I start thinking about, okay, why would somebody get that tattoo? Especially before, when we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have the internet. You came in and you picked an image off the wall and got it tattooed. Well, why would somebody pick that panther? Why would somebody pick that eagle? Why would they do that? And the only thing I could come up with was like, you're drawn to certain images that you think are powerful and that describe you as a person, which is pretty freaking cool when you think about it. Like, you're taking that artwork and putting it something that you love, that in some way you relate with, or you wouldn't like that image, and you're putting it on your skin and wearing it around for the rest of your life. So
right.
it's kind of cool when you break it down to like, wow, man, like, that tattoo's kind of stupid. Why did you get that? Or that tattoo is so badass. But again, it comes down to like, what do you like? What I think is silly, you might be like, no, that's cool. So again,
Right.
it comes down to,
well, it's art. It's subjective. It's
art.
That's the beautiful thing about it.
Yep.
I mean, it's incredibly
Absolutely.
subjective. Like, my wife had to have the Gustav Klimt painting, The Kiss, or isn't that what it's called? The Kiss. Had to have it. I bought her the frickin' painting. You know where it's at? It's somewhere in there. I don't know. It's in the storage unit somewhere.
It's
yeah,
put away.
and for me, man, like coming up around comic books and tattoo art, it was very hard for me to appreciate any other style of art. Like, it had to have an outline. It had to be strong image, very illustrative for me to even appreciate it. And like within the last 5 years, like I've really started to try to look at other art and appreciate it for what it is, and I see it a lot different now. I like more styles of art. It's not just like watercolor painting or like this style that looks like it could translate to a tattoo. But for me, for a long time, my whole life, it was like I was drawn to that style of artwork, and that's all I liked, and that was all that was cool.
Right.
Do you still draw, or do you ever do any illustrations on like Procreate or anything like that?
Oh, I don't do that crap. That's, to me, it's cheating.
Yeah.
Like, I do everything by hand.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just working on a painting yesterday, and I was getting in a hurry, and I looked down, and I had put my hand in the black, and the painting was ruined. Like, I was painting with my hand was covered in black, and I was Now it's
So do you do any like painting, like on like canvas and stuff like that? Do you
all
do?
watercolor paper.
You'll do that? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you see that one I did for Homelo?
Uh-uh.
That was pretty sick.
If I send it over to you, can you put it up there?
Yeah. Yeah, send it over.
My phone just went dead.
Oh shit! You're kidding me. Is it on your Facebook page?
It sure is.
Hold on, let me pull it up. So, all right, let me get this.
You got a charger right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I'll get it for you.
I did not come prepared with a full battery. Break it
So let me go to photos.
Yeah, I just did one for Homelo. It's a big dragon with a tiger. It's about 5 foot tall.
This was badass.
Oh yeah, I just sent you the video of it. That's not even finished there. Look at the video I just sent you.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
what,
that one
Drew?
was cool.
Here, Drew, I'm gonna send a pitch. I'm gonna send a.
No.
Drew, we got to pull up his Facebook page and show some of his work.
Or Instagram would probably be easier.
Man, this one too, John.
Which one is it? Oh yeah, that was cool.
So I forgot what the hell I was looking for because I started
The painting.
painting,
Yeah.
and it's in these pictures, right?
It should be. If you go to the Instagram, you could probably find it easier.
Instagram.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I'm so bad with this shit. Hurry up, Andrew. You know how to do all this. So now let me go to search. John
Well, we ain't friends?
Monk.
Come on, man.
Yeah, John Monk. I got you right there. All right. So who's this little baby? Look at the cheeks on this baby.
Yeah, that's my granddaughter.
That's awesome.
Brand new.
All right. So painting. That dog's pretty too.
Otis.
Looks like a big sweetheart.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Oh my God, this baby. I want to bite her cheeks. All right, so I see a painting. Hold on. Is that it, John?
That's me working on it, but there should be a finished picture of it.
All right, hold on. Let me keep fumbling down through here. Here?
Nope.
No.
Just sold that one.
Drew, you got to pull up his Instagram. Pull your head out of your ass. Do something.
I used to kick the shit out of Frank Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to, like, Frank, if I go too long without producing art, I will get depressed.
Really?
Like, I have to produce, and doing jujitsu helps, I guess, soothe that urge, I guess, but still.
Well, your issue is you need to be progressive.
Yes, I have to produce.
And that's not an issue. That's a good quality.
Yeah, it's just you don't get it from doing tattoos.
This girl's tattoo is freaking. I mean, that's badass.
Is that Liz?
Is that Liz Benda?
It is, yeah.
Oh yeah, I've never really paid. I mean, I've always seen her tattoos and thought, wow, those look. But I've never really dove into them. She's got some. Oh, that's a tiger.
Yeah, she's awesome. That chick is super tough as nails.
Well, I mean, yeah, Ethan is too.
Yeah. Yeah, I did Ethan's back too.
Ethan had a hip replacement. I was texting him because I need a hip replacement, and I've been putting it off. And someone goes, "Man, my buddy Ethan Benda just had one. He's killing it. He's doing great." And then so I text Ethan, and he's like, "Oh yeah." He goes, "I had it done. I just wish I'd have done it earlier." I'm like, "Well, I guess I better go ahead and do it." But I don't have time. You pulling it up, Drew?
Trying to.
Just get on your Facebook page or Instagram.
I know, but it's asking me to do all this connect bullshit. Just let me get there.
Okay.
Oh, here you go. It's right here. That one on my Instagram.
Oh yeah.
I just want to be able to maximize the screen.
God. You get some pretty. That leg tattoo had to hurt like hell. God, that's gotta hurt.
Which one?
This one. God.
Dude, they all hurt, man. Oh, yeah. There's way more now on that one. Yeah.
Ugh. That's pretty badass, though. It's kind of dark, A little on the dark side.
Yeah.
A little on the dark side. So, while he's pulling this up, how much longer do you think you're going to go with it, John?
With tattooing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll always tattoo as long as my body will let me.
Because you're kind of hunched over.
Yeah,
and
you know, like,
carpal tunnel's part of it. And
my hands are fine. You know, it's more my lower back and my eyes. You know, like it starts to strain your eyes, hurts my lower back.
why don't you get something like those doctors get that you can, put, can't you do something like that where it would...
I wear readers, so that helps.
Do you?
When I tattoo, but still, it still strains them, and then like it doesn't matter, But the lower back, and that's why I only do 2-3 hours a day. And even if I cut it back to a couple days a week, I'll never stop tattooing.
Right.
I freaking love it. I love tattooing.
Well, and at the end of the day, is your business sellable? Is it worth the shit without John Monk?
That's hard saying, because the business of the tattoo shop is the people that I have in there. It's me and my crew. So if me and my crew weren't there, it would probably just be another tattoo shop. And all those guys, like I said, they've been tattooing for so long that everybody has all their own clientele. It's like there's new people that come in right there.
Right here?
Yep.
All right, so we got to make sure Ricky knows to put it on the TV. Let's look through some of his stuff, Drew.
All right. That's badass, John.
So that's just a painting.
Watercolor, yeah.
Let's see some of his tattoos, Drewski. Let's go find Liz. Liz's tattoos. You got to go down further.
Do you have it segmented into tattoos where I can just look up tattoos?
No, it's...
Dude,
look at that panther.
Click on that baby
Look at that
first.
panther.
Click on that
The
baby.
baby?
We got
The baby's so
look at them
rad.
cheeks,
She's so
man.
rad.
Oh God, I missed that age.
I know. I want like 10 more.
Dude, if my wife would do it, I'd adopt so fast because they tied her tubes for after the twins. But I would have another one so fast.
Let's click on Liz's.
You see Jordan Peterson?
Where?
There.
Oh, you got to meet Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, I'm choking him right there.
How did you do that?
I just got a meet and greet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love.
That guy was a stud.
Hold on, I love Jordan Peterson.
Guys.
That dude's brilliant.
Hey, the
Great.
coolest thing that he said. Okay, so afterward, the whole seminar was on we who wrestle with God. It was about like the first paragraph of the creation. Okay, and afterwards we had a Q&A that a group of us stayed and got to talk to him. And the coolest thing that I've ever heard, because he won't ever come out and tell you straightforward what he thinks.
I think he's a theist. I do not think he's an atheist. I think he's a theist.
No, he definitely believes in God because his wife was talking about praying and all kinds of stuff.
Well, I think his wife's a Christian.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Now, he won't say that he's a
He
Christian.
won't tell you straight up, but he leads you to believe that listen, man, the coolest freaking thing that he said, this little girl, about 10 years old, they passed the mic to her and she said, it was her time for a question, and she said, Jordan, do you think the stories in the gospel are true? And he said, they are the truest thing you will ever read, whether they happened or not. Dude, how rad is that? Like the lessons, the truth in those stories are truer than anything you'll ever read, whether it really happened or not. It's what you're
The
learning.
lesson
Yes.
here. He did a thing with Bill Maher, okay? And of course, Bill Maher is a stark raving atheist, and Jordan Peterson, I believe, is a theist. But he's and he was talking about Jonah and the whale, and he said the reason why Jonah ended up in the whale because he didn't do what he was called to do and say what he was called to say, and there's consequences for not doing what you're called to do and saying what you're called to say. And I was like, man, this guy can dissect.
He's good.
He's unbelievable.
He really is.
Dude, the whole...
Even Bill Maher had to say, it's amazing how you're able to take life lessons out of this, and I don't know. I love listening to Jordan Peterson.
Dude, that guy talked an hour and a half on 2 sentences. I was like, whoa, man, this guy definitely is too smart and he thinks way too much.
And he's getting ready to go into like social media jail in Canada.
Well, his wife got diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
And there's a little segment on that, and in that he really makes it a point to divulge that yes, he is a theist for sure. You know, he does believe in God. Now, whether Jesus is his means to that end, he doesn't allude to that.
Yeah, he doesn't ever say.
But his wife 100% is a Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah, his wife is 100% a Christian.
I'm looking up why he's going to social media jail.
Dude, and he was cool, man. And when I got the picture with him, I'm like, hey, can I choke you? And he's like, what is, I said, hey, can I do a rear naked choke on you? He goes, what's that? And I just freaking slapped it on him. And he was smiling and laughing. He goes, I bet you scared my security team. I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah, I
thanks,
bet he's
buddy."
got to have heavy security.
Yeah, it was, dude, the guy was super nice. Wanted to stay and talk to everybody, but they were like, come on, Jordan, we got to go. But he would have stayed there all night and talked to us.
So you just went to a seminar, paid to go. Where was it at?
Cable Dahmer?
Man, I would have went to that, and it would have cost a couple thousand.
Nah, dude, it was like, oh, yeah, I think it did.
Yeah, I bet it was. I mean, he's got to command that.
Yeah, I think it did because we got the, we were like in the second row, and we got the.
Drew, we got more tattoos to look at.
Yeah, they'll be showing him as.
Yeah, but I'm on. We got. It's 2:00.
Oh, okay.
There's Ethan's back.
That's badass.
Oh yeah.
That's a cover up. It was a big tribal back piece.
And you covered the whole thing.
Yep.
Nice.
There's badass.
Let's keep fumbling through a couple more.
Man, that's badass too.
Have you ever had a situation where a guy or a girl came in and wanted you to do a tattoo, and you were like, "Nope, I ain't doing that."
Oh, all the time.
What is your?
If I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it.
Click on Liz. I mean, that's badass.
Yeah, she's rad.
Yeah, that is killer.
Yeah. So what is your criterion then?
I mean, I have enough people at my shop that whatever style you want, there's somebody that specializes in that style. And a lot of people will like, I want to get tattooed by John Monk. Like I want a John Monk tattoo. But they want me to do something that maybe I'm not the best at.
Right.
Like don't call me to do a portrait. I don't do that. Like I don't do photorealism tattoos. Like I do American traditional and I do traditional Japanese. That's what I'm very good at. That's what I've studied my whole life. So for me to, like what do they say? You can't teach uh-oh.
Yeah, I think you're good.
No, you're good. No,
Shake the cord at the
just
bottom.
the cord at the bottom. Right. Yep. Go ahead. Now try it. Yep. You're good. Go on.
I can't hear. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I just want to do what I know that I can do the best.
Right.
So for me, like, I get it. You want a John Monk tattoo. Like, you want me to tattoo you, Well, cool. Get something that I do well.
Right.
Because, like, my hands are not what they used to be. I can't do a bunch of fine line stuff. I mean, can I? Sure I can. But I pay the price for it.
Right.
So I don't want to put my body through anything that I shouldn't have to.
This is badass right here, man. Look at how that color pops.
Yeah, that was a big cover up, right?
Man.
That was a outer space scene, and I did that. There should be a couple more pictures where I finished it, where I covered the rest of it up with flowers.
Okay, let's see if I can find it.
But it's kind of like like a lot of I only want to do what I want to do, and it might sound dickheaded, but I want to give my customers something special. That was it. Go back down. Down. Right there. That Hanya right there. That's the bottom part of that.
Huh.
Damn.
Yeah.
You laid that red in hard.
Yeah.
But he's not real ridiculously swollen or anything, but red on me falls
No,
out.
that's healed.
Okay. Man, that pops.
Yeah.
That looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
And really, Frank, anymore, like I've been tattooing the same people for 30 years.
Right.
So like I tattoo who I very seldom do I have time to take on a new client. You know, I mean, I will. I mean, I do, and I will. But 95% of the people that are coming to me, I've been tattooing them for years and years and years, and they're just like, whatever you want to do, John. They know what I do. They know what I do well, and that's what they're coming to me for.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, because I remember being at KC Inc. and somebody would walk in and, Glenn, I always like the fact that he kind of operates from a position of fuck you. Like, he's like, I don't like that, and it's not going to look good, and I'm not doing it.
Well, you know, you try to educate the customer because a lot of times, like, okay, cool, I get it.
You're good.
You saw that on whatever social media you're looking at the time, you know, and it looks good on there because it was photoshopped. It's not how it looks really, and it's definitely not how it's going to look in 5 years. Like, I want to do a tattoo that's going to look the same 30 years from now.
Right.
You know, and all this hyper photo realism stuff, it doesn't hold up.
Right.
It doesn't look like that after 10 years.
Right.
You know?
Right. No, I get it.
I feel like the bigger you go, the better the piece will look.
Absolutely.
You know, because then
Stronger.
The stronger, and you could have some fallout.
Click on that grave. What is that?
That's Josh.
Well, that's a good lead into our next topic. That's badass.
That is
right.
awesome.
Where's he buried at, John?
You know, right up out there off 169.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Timmy Coons is over there.
Okay, yeah.
That is so cool. I've never seen something like that.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
It was really cool because nobody else had one. And then once I got that, now like a bunch of them popped up. And I was like, man, before it was like that was the only badass one, you know. And then people saw it and they started getting them too.
That's amazing.
So that's a good lead way into the next part of the show. So I want to talk about initially, you you made some bad decisions as a young adult, you know.
Yeah, we all did, didn't we?
Yeah. I'm not passing judgment. I'm not passing judgment, and I am not throwing stones. And I certainly, I want to mention it.
Yeah, just how long did you stay in those bad decisions?
Right.
You know,
Right.
before you snap, because a lot of people don't ever get out of them.
Well, here, I honestly think a big part of it is like chemical makeup, right? You know, so like I made some terrible decisions, but when it was time to stop, I stopped.
Yeah.
And I was just done. And then there's some people that just couldn't do that. So let's talk about, what you did, how you got into it, and more importantly, let's talk about how you got out of it. You know what I mean? Like what the definitive moment was where, hey, I'm done with this. This isn't who I am. This is what I'm doing. It's not who I am, and it's not who I want to be.
Yeah, I think, like we were all kids, we were in our 20s, and back then it was like, this was in the 90s, so late 90s. So it was like people in our generation, it just was what it was. Nobody could afford Harleys. They were expensive back then. If you had a Harley, like you were older.
Yeah, right.
And well, we all could afford them, so we had them. And it was, we got wrapped up with the wrong people, to ride.
This is you and Josh.
Yeah, me and Josh got wrapped up with the wrong people, because of the common interest of the motorcycle, and then all of a sudden you're doing things that you shouldn't do and partying, you just party. And it went really well with the tattoo lifestyle, because before we were, out at the bars every night anyway. So that now you didn't have to sleep, you could.
What was the drug of choice at the time?
It was meth.
Okay.
That's.
And the route of administration was?
A straw.
Okay. So you snorted it. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Got it.
And it was, it is what it is. Like everybody liked to party, and nobody wanted to go to sleep. You want to stay up. You don't want to miss anything. And it seems like it was a long time, but it really wasn't. It was just that we didn't sleep. Because I think that I only partied like that with drugs for 3 or 4 years.
Right.
And then it was just I remember when it was when. Stephanie was pregnant got pregnant with Layla, and I was like, okay, and I remember just looking in the mirror going, I don't like this guy. This is not who I want to be. This is not the kind of parent I want to be. So it's like, I'm done, I'm done.
Were you every day using?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like sleep was?
Once every 3 weeks.
You're shitting me.
No.
Like legitimately once every 3 weeks? Mm-hmm. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Josh we were seasoned drug addicts.
And Josh, his habit was a little worse than yours, or it just grabbed a hold of him more.
Josh was just as bad, except I owned a business, so I could afford my habit.
Right.
and Josh wasn't. Let's just say, work didn't interest him when he was high.
Right. Yeah. No, I get
So he would never go to work, so he would end up doing other things to make money.
He didn't tattoo now.
He did.
No, he did piercings.
He did the piercing. He did all the
Okay.
piercings.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, so Josh ends up, you quit, right?
Yeah.
But Josh keeps using.
Josh, I got out of as soon as Stephanie got pregnant. I knew I was going to be a father. Then that changed everything for me.
Now, were you still hanging with your brother, or were you like?
At this time, when I decided to get clean, I got rid of everybody. Like if you had anything to do with that lifestyle, I didn't even drink. I didn't do anything. I'm done. I can't be around you people because I can't be around it and not party with you guys.
And you didn't have to go to rehab or anything. You just quit.
Nah, I just quit because I'd been to a couple of rehabs before, court ordered. You're not gonna quit until you want to quit.
Right.
The hardest part about quitting isn't quitting; it's making the decision to quit.
Right.
It's like you gotta understand what you have to do to get free.
Is there that's an interesting that you say the word free. Mm-hmm. Because it binds you.
I mean, you're not addicted. I mean, for me, it wasn't like the alcohol and drugs and all that. It was the lifestyle and the friends, and it was like just the party all the time. That it wasn't like necessarily getting high. It was, dude, we're having so much fun all the time.
Right.
Now, did you meet your kid's mom through partying like that?
Yeah, I think she worked at like the Shady Lady or Bonita Flats or something like that.
Okay.
Our Lady of Shades.
Yep.
Our Lady of the Worthless Miracle.
So she didn't party with you then?
Not as bad as she was more of a drinker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you guys stepped out of it, it was pretty easy.
We stepped out of it together because she was pregnant.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, we're done. I'm done with those people. I'm done with this. When you start looking around the room and you're like, I don't even like you motherfuckers.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I was here. I used to work at a bar on 34th and Broadway called Aqua. Aqua would close and we would go down to the River Market to a rave. Okay.
C-Mac's a hobby.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
It was called Oldham. We would go down to this place called Oldham.
Yeah.
And it was nothing but people doing blow,
Yep.
and taking ecstasy.
Yep.
They would sell water, juice, Red
Yeah.
Bull, and it would go till 9 in the morning.
Yep.
Okay, so we leave this place at 9 in the morning. Okay, we go to a hotel room, and there's a bunch of people in there, and they're passing around a plate of cocaine. And there's this one dude, and his name's Michael, and you have to call him Michael. Okay, can't say Mike. His name's Michael. His wife is running around, getting thrown around by everyone. He don't even give a fuck. He's enjoying it. This is the type of fucking weirdos I'm with. And I look at the guy I'm with. I won't want to say his name. And I said to myself, it's 10:30 in the morning. We can't even do any more cocaine because our nose is so stuffed up.
Yeah, your frozen face. Like,
Trying to stop it from bleeding.
And I look at him.
you're just eating your jaw.
I look at him and I said, what the fuck are we doing here? What? I don't like any of these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like any of them. There's one thing that we have in common. We all want to do cocaine.
Yep.
Right.
And I'm thinking, it was such a epiphany for me. I was like, I am nothing like you guys.
Yeah.
No, when you look around the room and you're like, man, you guys
suck.
suck. You don't really have jobs. You don't really own a house. You don't even have a nice car, let alone a nice motorcycle. You guys really are fucking worthless.
You suck.
You're not like anybody that I would ever look up to.
No,
You know?
no. I'm like, what kind of weirdos are you?
Yep. Well, that's what happened, and I was just like, fuck this shit, man. Like, I'm out of here,
You hang with the cripples, you begin to limp.
Yes.
This is all.
Here, I was listening to it the other. The guy said, influence has the word flu in it because it's like the flu.
Well, yeah.
It'll spread just like the flu does.
Well, they say, show me 5 of your friends, and I'll tell you who you are.
That's right. That's right. So
I got out. I gave up that lifestyle and, start focusing on what was getting ready to happen with the child. And Josh was still partying.
But then let's talk about what happened with Josh. Not his death, but him getting sober.
Well, what happened was, I couldn't even talk to him because, like, I'd get a phone call, like, Josh is down here and they're forming a lynch mob. You know, you need to come down here because he's fucking with everybody, going around smacking people and taking their drinks. And, you know, I'm like, oh, God, here's another time this week I got to go down to the bar and save Josh. And I'd go down there and he'd be laughing his ass off, still walking around smacking people, telling everybody he's going to fuck them up and do this and that. And I'm like, Josh, okay, I get it. You're safe, but it's time to go home. You know, and I just got sick of that, having to deal with all this shit. Well, Josh got really sick, and he was staying in, I think, Marcus Watkins' basement or something. And Marcus was like, Josh, he needs to go to the hospital. You know, like he's sick. So he was in the hospital, and he called me, and I was like, oh, man, okay, cool. Like, you're okay, right? And he's like, well, yeah, but, you know. I was like, I'll come visit you. And I freaking went to visit him and didn't even recognize him. He was so small. His face sunk in. I was like, dude, he looked like he was getting ready to die. And he said, you know, he said something like, you know, later it was, he said, I said a prayer and I said, God, if you're real, show me you're real, and I'll follow you, and I'll stop all this nonsense. And he said, when he said amen, I walked in the door and said, get your shit, you're coming to live with me. And then it just changed his whole life, you know.
And you basically said, this is it, you're done.
Yeah, I said, you're done. You're coming with me. You're gonna come home to my house, and you're staying with me. No more of this nonsense.
And so he gets discharged from the hospital and comes and stays with you.
Yep.
And he goes through the withdrawals with you.
Yep.
And then he gets clean.
Yeah.
And then he devotes the rest of his life to God.
He did. I mean, it was amazing. He was a pastor, you know?
Right. I mean, literally like feeding homeless.
Yep. His whole deal was getting people clean, getting their life back, you know, getting them off dope, getting them jobs, you know, getting them visitation again, and just taking a drug addict that he found under the bridge and turning them into a functioning part of society again. You know, that's what he did.
That's a big thing.
That is huge. It's incredible.
How long did he get to do that for?
7 years.
7 years.
7 years. Yeah. I mean, he ended up. I remember he was a pastor at Maywood Baptist, and his Sunday school class, he had 90 people that would show up to his Sunday school class, and that's like unheard of.
I think a guy like him is going to draw in. He was just one of those people that drew people to him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He just was.
His star shined really bright.
And he also, like, I don't know. He was an interesting guy. You know?
And it wasn't somebody just talking. Like, he'd been there, done that. Like,
right.
Josh was the worst of the worst.
Right.
You know, like, people feared that guy.
It's amazing. It's a testimony to how an encounter with Christ can change you, in my opinion.
But
it blew my mind because he told me the story, and I was like, you serious? Like, you said amen, and I walked in and told you you're coming home with me? And he's like, John, God spoke to me.
It's a big thing.
And I was like, wow, you know, that's crazy.
Did you ever go listen to him?
Yeah, all the time.
Really? Mm-hmm. So then, okay, so he goes 7, and then he gets sick. Talk to me about.
He called me. I was at the parade when the Royals won.
We got a picture of them on the screen, so.
Oh yeah,
so they could actually pull it up for us.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was at the. It was
so Josh is on the left.
Yep.
Right.
And yeah, he looks mean, don't he?
Dude, he really does.
Dude, that guy. Oh man.
He really does. Hold on, and he was.
He was.
Yeah, at one point, like
he was, and then I was at the parade, and he called me. Because prior to the parade, he had called me and he said, John, man, I've freaking had this headache, man, for like a week. And then like the second week he called me, he said, John, the headache, this is horrible and it isn't going away. And I go, you need to go to the freaking hospital, man, and just get a MRI or a CAT scan, whatever they do. I was at the parade when he called me and said, they just told me I have brain cancer and I have 11 months to live. And I remember just like, I was with Layla and Boss, and I remember just standing there in shock. And I'm just like, what the fuck? You're fine, and now you have 11 months to live? And, yeah, it was crazy.
And so how long did he last after he was diagnosed?
11 months.
So it's funny because my son had the same tumor, if you remember, and they told us most kids with this diagnosis don't make it a year. He was diagnosed in June. He died in April. So 10 months.
Yep. How many surgeries did he have?
They wouldn't do no surgeries on him.
Really?
We found a pediatric neurosurgeon in Manhattan named Fred Epstein who was able to operate on that type of tumor. And he had a brainstem glioma. And he said, here, I want you to do radiation, and I want you to do, they wouldn't even do chemo at the time because they couldn't get chemo past the blood-brain barrier. I want you to do radiation, do another MRI, send it to me. We did the radiation every day for 6 weeks, did another MRI, sent it to him, and then he called me personally and said, listen, here's the deal. I cannot distinguish good and bad tissue in this situation because of the way it's attached. He said, I cannot, he was upset, obviously.
Yeah.
He said, I cannot help you guys, and he was very upfront, but he was very nice. And so then we started doing, things like thalidomide. So what they called them was they were medications that prevented blood flow to the tumor. That was they prevented new blood vessels because they're bloodthirsty tumors are. And so that's what they were geared to do. One of them was tamoxifen, which they'll use with patients with breast cancer. The other one was thalidomide, which is what they used in the 60s for women with morning sickness. But they took it off the market because it caused horrific birth defects. So when we went and got this medicine, you had to sign something saying you wouldn't have any pregnant women in your house. You wouldn't, let any pregnant women around it. You probably don't remember that.
No.
But we weren't allowed to have any pregnant women in the house or anything. It was a big deal. And so, we gave him the thalidomide, we gave him the tamoxifen. You know what? From what I remember, it'll be 24 years that he passed. April the 15th. He went fast from what I remember.
The regression of the last week is what was the shittiest.
You know
what? How it was with him?
I remember getting really bad. Here, I'll be honest with you, John. One of the biggest things I regret with that is distancing because I was afraid to watch him die.
Yeah.
And that could be why.
And then you're like in this situation where you're watching them deteriorate. And you're like, you don't want them to suffer, and you're like, God, please take them. And then when God takes them, or the cancer takes them, then you're like, God, I'd give my left testicle to have one more hour, no matter what state of mind he was in.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that may be why his mom has such a hard time, and then my mom remembers things that I don't remember because my mom dove into it. You know what I mean? His mom dove into it, and I think I could even say the same about Dad. Where. Maybe that's just what men do. I don't know. That is something I regret.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, you think failure's bad, try living with regret. And that's what I'm always in the back of my mind when I make that comment. And I regret that because.
And it's always the same thing, Frank. It's you regret the time. The only thing that you can't buy, the only thing that you can't get back is time. And it's like you wish you would have did this different. You wish you would have spent more time with that person. And that's real. Yeah,
And when they die that young, whether you're talking about Josh or my son Andrew, it was. And I remember my dad said this. He goes, "It was never going to be enough time, Frank. No matter how long he lasts, it was never going to be enough time." I'll never forget Dad saying that.
Well, and you always look back and you always go, "I should have did this, or I could have did this different." And there's 100,000 different scenarios.
What ifs?
Could have did. What if? Yeah, exactly.
Right. What ifs?
But yeah, it is what it is, and I guess that's what makes life so precious, is that you could have a headache and have 11 months to live tomorrow.
Here, he kept complaining ahead. His mom kept telling me, Frank, he has headaches. I said, you're out of your mind. Saying nothing wrong with him. You're crazy. We went and got an EEG. The EEG was negative. She wanted to go get an MRI. I said, go get it. I'm not going. I'm not going. There's nothing wrong with this baby. I'm not going. Billy Joel, it was Billy Joel and Elton John. Remember, me and him had a job where we worked. We would load and unload the trucks for the concerts. And then Billy Joel and Elton John were in town, and she took him to get an MRI, and I went to work. I went and unloaded the trucks at Kemper Arena.
Sure.
I'm like, I ain't going. There ain't nothing wrong with this baby. She's fucking crazy. And that's where I learned never underestimate a mother's intuition.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Don't ever underestimate a mother's intuition. So if like one of my kids, I got a feeling, if Michelle says they're fine, I'm fine.
Yeah.
If Michelle's got a worried look on her face, I'm like, okay, let's go get this checked out.
Yeah.
You know, and then I come home and that's when I find out, shit, he's got a brain tumor. And it was 1 year. But I always admired you. You took care of his daughter for how many kids Josh had?
He had one.
He had one. The daughter. And how old is she?
Now she's in college now, so she has.
You bought that car for her, which was badass.
Yeah, I think she's got to be 19.
Yeah. She go to KU?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you
She's a good kid, man. That kid.
super smart. She's gonna be a doctor?
Last time I talked to her, she didn't know. At first, she wanted to be a doctor, and then she changed it, and
Yeah, they're young.
But that kid is nothing like what me and Josh were. She
Thank
is
God.
a perfect freaking angel. Yeah, she is rad.
So she was probably 9 years old then when Josh died.
Right around there, yeah.
9 or 10. Yeah.
She was too young.
Oh God, yeah. He was too young.
He was too young.
Yeah.
So how long was he clean before he passed?
7, 8 years.
7, 8 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean that's an awesome transformation.
How did it change you spiritually going through
After he died?
after he died, and
Well-
did it influence you with him telling, or did it?
The craziest thing that really stuck with me is Josh was very, very strong in his faith. And he told me, he goes, we were talking, he's like, I'm not scared to die. I'm not scared to die, John. I don't want to die. Of course, nobody wants to die. I want to watch my daughter grow up, is exactly what he said. But he said, I'm not scared to die. I know what's going to happen. I know where I'm going. And I was like, damn, I'd be freaking terrified.
Right.
Because I never had faith like Josh. Josh was one of those. He just was. I mean,
Would you categorize Josh as a fearless individual as it is?
absolutely.
He lived a life fearless.
Yeah.
Well, but even people who live fearless can be afraid of death.
I understand that, but a person who lives their life fearless in the dark will live their life fearless in the light, and I think that translates.
He just knew, he knew, his relationship with God was so strong that he had no doubt what was going to happen.
That's a blessing.
Yeah. For me, I'm like, I am not like that. I freaking question everything, and
So you're a skeptic.
yes. And if I don't understand something, I can't be sincere about it.
Right.
I have to understand everything. And my brain, my ADD I'm freaking can't stop thinking about stuff. And, it works, which in the, for.
So you would basically consider yourself, what would it be, like agnostic?
No, definitely not. Because agnostic, they don't know if they believe in anything, right?
That's right. I think that's right. Yes.
I know I believe that there is something.
You just don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is. Do I think that everything came from evolution and this was a big accident? No, absolutely not. I don't think that. I think that this
You think there was a creator?
there was a grand design.
Yes.
Of course there was.
Yes.
Now what that looks like, I have no idea.
Right.
And after Josh passed, I took years and studied trying to figure it out. Like, where is he? Where did he go? Which religion's right? Which one's wrong? Is there a religion? I know that when we die, our bodies are energy. The energy has to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But does that energy have consciousness? that light bulb's energy too, but it doesn't think.
Right.
So can you think out? Can your energy think outside of your body without a brain? Like all this stuff, I'm like, how does this make sense? You know, and so all I really came up with is that after studying for 4 years, 3 hours a night, all I really came up with it was that we don't know, and we won't know until it happens. So all we can do is take what makes sense to us and what makes us a better person, what makes us a better human being. And we only going to live after we pass in the memories of how we've treated people and what we've done to make other people's lives better.
I personally think listening to you talk, you're incredibly spiritually discerned. I think a lot of what drives you is the Holy Spirit. I think you just don't realize it. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to put anything on you, but that's me personally.
Well,
just listen. I mean, Andrew.
Frank, I'll tell you one thing. When I pray, shit happens. Okay? So I'm just telling you guys.
Good shit.
When I pray, it gets answered.
Well, I mean.
I don't, like, what is that? I don't know. Is there really a God that can hear me? Am I putting this out into the universe and making it happen? I don't know. But I do know that there was a dude, it's a fact, that there was a dude that lived around 3,000 years ago. His name was Jesus. And he started a movement and he got killed for it. And the stuff that he taught was badass. And if you go by what he taught, which was basically love one another, then you're going to have a good life. Whether it's real or not, you're going to have a good life if you go by what Jesus taught.
Brett Weinstein, an evolutionary biologist who's an atheist, he's a scientific atheist. He's someone who believes that science, and I think he's a scientific atheist, that he believes science can disprove the existence of God. Even he concedes that people who follow the rules in the Bible outcompete those who don't.
Absolutely.
He even concedes to that. So for me, that says something. Now I'm 100% a Christian. I mean, I don't always make the right decisions, but I'm still, I try to follow the rules of the Bible and the teachings of Jesus.
I just have a hard time with that word because people fucked it up. Now, if you ask me if I'm a follower of Jesus, then I would say yes.
Right.
I would say yes. Everything that dude said was freaking spot on, rad, But the word Christian, I have a problem with.
Your problem is with religion, not relationship.
My problem is with the people that represent him.
Yeah. No, I get it. There's definitely here. They're humans. They're going to be fallible. They're going to do things wrong. I'm going to. You're going to. There's definitely issues with religion versus relationship, and
Greed gets in the way.
It does.
That's what it comes down to. When you start putting monetary value behind, your faith and the idea to build the mega church, I get the concept behind it. Yeah, the bigger the church is, the more you can do, but also the more that the people at the top could probably take. And a lot of times,
so let's think about it. Okay, let's say it's a non-for-profit. The max you could take out of a non-for-profit is $200,000, I think. Okay, so let's say the pastor takes out $200,000 a year. What if he's putting $2 million into the community?
Where people get pissed off is which I don't know that I necessarily agree with. I'm not going to take a stance one way or the other because I haven't really spent time thinking about it. But like a guy like Joel Osteen, he wrote a bunch of books.
Joel Osteen made his money as an author. Joel Osteen does not take any money out of that church anymore.
And people will look at his house and pass judgment.
Here, you know what? People who can't be happy for someone else who made money, those people can't be successful, in my opinion.
No, I'm with you.
Here, Joel Osteen, people bought his shit because they like what he says. Okay? I mean, so not all these people buying his stuff can't be wrong.
Well, people get it.
Now, do I agree with the prosperity gospel?
Well, people get it twisted, though, too. They think if you work for God, you should be poor, which I don't agree with.
I don't agree with that.
No, not at all.
I don't agree with that.
I don't either.
If you do anything well, you should be compensated for it.
100%.
And all the stuff that he is doing, it's like, why don't you look at that?
Right.
Okay, the guy has a awesome house and has a bunch of money. Okay. Did he earn it? Of course he did.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, he works his ass off,
Yeah,
probably.
just because he works for God doesn't mean he has to give all his money away.
Well, and
You know?
that misconception comes from the Catholics. And it's not I mean, I'm not saying Catholics look down at people who have money, but the Catholic priests take a vow of poverty. But Joel Osteen didn't.
Right, yeah, I'll pass on that one.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here, the Catholic priest also takes a vow of celibacy. Joel Osteen didn't.
Right.
I personally think
So
that,
why can't Joel Osteen be rich and get laid?
Yeah, I honestly think that pastors or priests should have families, because when you're speaking towards people who have families, it's more relatable and you have your own life experience. to
Here,
share.
the Catholic Church is $1 billion a year tax-free industry. And you know what? The reason why they probably really don't want priests to freaking get married and have kids is it's going to take money off their bottom line. They got to pay for more shit then.
The Vatican.
I mean, now you got to pay for a wife. And here, some of them Catholics, shit, they have 7 kids.
yeah.
I mean, think about that. Think about how much more money they would have to pay now. You know, and I'm not knocking Catholics. My kids go to Catholic school, you know, so I don't want anyone to, and I have very good friends that are Catholic priests. I go to Catholic Mass sometimes.
The Vatican's organized crime.
Look at The Godfather 3. Watch it. No, but seriously, you know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a pastor making some money. And there's nothing wrong with a priest taking a vow of celibacy or a vow of poverty. That's commendable.
Yeah.
It's commendable. You know,
I don't want to be celibate or broke.
I don't want to be either one.
No, I'll pass. I'll take a hard pass.
A hard pass.
You know.
All right. Well, here now I want to finish talking about the Jiu-Jitsu Academy, Healy and Gracie, off Antioch and Inglewood Road. I want to talk about who gave you your belts. I want to talk about your philosophy behind Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm just going to tell you mine. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you mine. I'm certainly not as seasoned as you. Okay, but my philosophy behind it is it's the most diplomatic sport there is. Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, you don't have to have a certain body habitus. You don't have to have a certain speed. You don't have to be 6'5" and to be able to play. Anybody who wants to go put in the work can go compete at jiu-jitsu at a high level.
Absolutely.
And I think that is the beauty of the sport. The other thing is there's a place for everyone at a jiu-jitsu academy. There's a place for the 45-year-old that just wants to go play around and get in shape. There's a place for the 20-year-old who wants to go compete and win the Pan Ams and the Worlds. That is the way I look at the sport.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened. You know, I was always into the Japanese artwork anyway, so it was kind of weird when I found out that the samurai are the one that like pretty much honed jiu-jitsu and made it what it is, you know.
Well, jiu-jitsu is Japanese for the gentle way. I believe that's what it means, doesn't it?
The gentle way,
The
yes.
gentle way.
Yeah. And then, but, you know, like, I feel like, yes, what you're saying, there's, it you know, like in our academy and a lot of academies that I've went to, it's this feeling of belonging. It's this feeling of I can come in here no matter what body type I have, and I can be a part of something that's bigger than myself. And generally speaking, people that do jiu-jitsu live healthy lifestyles.
Right.
You know, like nobody's out partying too much, doing whatever that, you know, like you get addicted to the sport and then it evolves into your life to where like it just kind of takes over and all of a sudden now you're doing healthy things.
Well, yeah, because you don't want to go out drinking on Friday because you want to go to open mat Saturday morning.
Absolutely. And then for me, jiu-jitsu, you know, I see it, especially with the kids program, and the kids program is getting big and it's so awesome, you know, but the life lessons that jiu-jitsu teaches you. And if you really think about like what's going on. Okay, Frank, you're on top of me, smashing me, choking me, and I have 2 options. To freak out and get choked or to remain calm and figure out how do I get out of this mess that I just got myself into. You know, and if you can take that lesson and apply it to your life, man, I've seen it change these kids, you know, to where like I don't fly off the handle when I get upset anymore. I remain calm and figure out how to deal with this issue. And it's the same when you're in when I'm on top of you, choking you. Like I have to remain calm and figure out how to finish the choke, you know, while you're fighting out of it. You know, so the life lessons that you get out of doing jiu-jitsu I don't think they're comparable with other sports. You know, like you're just remaining how to stay calm while you're being crushed.
It's much more humbling than anything I ever tried learning. Like I had to go through a period in football where I got the crap kicked out of me, and you know, baseball, basketball, all that stuff. But in my opinion, there was nothing more humbling than getting your ass kicked by a girl.
Choking you.
Or you know, or even someone who's not a girl, or the fact that here, maybe you're going in there once or twice a week and you're kicking this dude's ass, and 3 weeks later he taps you 4 times.
Yeah.
Because he's been going 4 times a week,
Yep.
5 times a week, you know, and then all of a sudden, guys you used to beat, you can't beat anymore. And
yeah, and coming from like people that grew up like when we did, where we were out fighting, we're pretty tough guys. You know, we like to fight at the bars when we were younger, and we did that. And then you go in and some little bitty dork puts it on you.
Hard.
You're like, oh my God, I'd beat your ass on the streets. But here, you know, like you freaking got me.
Yeah.
You got me good. And you didn't just get me good once. You got me good like a bunch of times.
Yeah.
You know, so it is humbling. Yes, you definitely have to learn how to dissolve your ego.
You have to have zero ego.
Yes.
Because if you keep it, you're going to get hurt, or
Yes.
you're going to quit.
Yep.
One of those
absolutely.
2 things will happen.
You know, and a bunch of, you know, big weightlifter guys came in the gym with one of the guys that comes there, and, you know, they were coming, and it lasted about 2 weeks, and I said, hey, you know, hey, buddy, what happened to all your friends? And he goes, well, I'll be honest with you. They said they couldn't take it knowing that these little guys could just do whatever they wanted to them.
And that's what drew me to it.
Yep. Yep.
That's what drew me to it. I was like, I have to know what they know.
Yes.
You know, so let's talk about. Okay, so we know what your academy. Do you have certain classes for people like me who just want to go learn, and then classes for guys that are trying to compete? Different, because I gotta assume you don't want to put them all in the same class.
Well, right now, yeah, pretty much, because what we'll do is everybody's learning the same thing. The guys that want to compete will stay after and roll hard, you know, but we're not really separating it. Like if, say, for example, Jorge's teaching, he'll be like, okay, guys, this is for the white belts. You know, like he'll show, and then he'll say, okay, for the colored belts, it's the same thing, but on a more technical level, like a more advanced level.
Right.
You know, so he'll separate and you know, like you guys, this is for you guys, and here's the more advanced, you know, version of this.
Right.
So, and then like I said, the people that want to compete, and they just stay after and roll hard, you know.
And then the guys like me that would want to just get a good workout,
Yeah.
just say, hey,
Go in, do the class.
I want to just roll. And like for me, like my favorite thing to do, I like to just flow spar.
Yeah, me too. It's my favorite.
That's my favorite thing to do.
Get a
And
good sweat on.
Set a timer for 5 or 10 minutes and just flow and just move around.
Yep, that's what I like. I love that.
You
Yeah, that's
know?
what I mainly do, unless I'm getting ready for a tournament. Then I'll go hard.
Right. Yeah, you have to at some point, you know. So what? Talk to me about your class times. What times do the kids come in?
The kids are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5:30 p.m.
And then, so what is the age group? What's the age range for that?
Well, we try to start them at 5. You know, if a 4-year-old.
No shit. You have them 5 years old.
Yeah, if a 4-year-old comes in, I'm not going to say no if they can pay attention.
Right.
But if they can't pay attention, you know, then you know you're gonna have to wait and bring them back when they're 5. You know, but about 5 to 16.
And you'll have them all in the same class.
Yeah.
And you just pair them up with kids their age and size.
Absolutely.
When they're drilling and when they roll.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And how many kids you got in there?
Oh, I'd say 35. Do you see that picture that I posted?
You got 35 kids in there, John?
Look on the Healing Gracie.
Pull it up, Drew. Let's get it up here.
You
So
gotta see this picture. It's so rad. On the Healing Gracie Facebook page. Yeah, I just posted a picture of a couple days ago.
and then you have day classes?
We have a 10 a.m., and a 6:30 p.m. for adults.
10 a.m., 6:30. When's gi? When's no gi?
No gi is Tuesdays.
And then gi is every other day. So no gi, both classes are.
Go to the Healing and Gracie page.
Is it Facebook or is
Yeah,
it?
Facebook
Okay, let me log into Facebook.
or Instagram. I think either one.
Okay. Well, you have to tell me how to spell it.
HILL.
R-I.
RIHI. RILL.
R.
What the hell? I mean,
R-I.
R-I?
Yeah. R is pronounced H.
Yes. And H is pronounced.
H-I-L-R-I.
RILL.
R-I-L-L.
ION. Helion. Today, Junior.
Is that right?
Gracie. It's really one L, but it doesn't matter.
I'll go back.
RILION. It's
Yeah.
one L.
Yeah.
Spell it for me slow. I'm half retarded right now.
R-I-L.
You're definitely retired.
R-I-L.
ION.
I-O-N.
Right here.
Yep, there you go. Okay, now we're in business.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how I got this job because, I mean, it seems like I'm not the...
So down one. Go down. Right there, first to the left.
Click it.
This is the other day.
Nice.
Man, big class.
You got the pink geese and everything for the girls.
Yep.
So do some of them those kids compete, John? Are they just
Yeah, we got a tournament coming up. I think we got 7, 10 kids in it.
So when they have tournaments, do you go to all that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I coach.
Okay, so who else coaches at your gym besides you?
Oh man. For the kids, it's me, and I have a couple people helping me, but for the adults, it's Jorge Velma. They're Marcelo Garcia black belts.
Wow.
And then I have Joe, brown belt Joe, and I have Luke. You know Luke.
Luke Josephine?
Yep.
Oh yeah, he's a Jason Bircher black belt.
Oh, he's a stud.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yep. And then I got Alex and Randy that are brown belts under Hoyler, and then myself. So we have seven instructors.
Yeah. Yeah, Luke's a really, really good jiu-jitsu fighter for
Yeah,
sure.
I love Luke. Luke is rad.
Just a sweetheart of a guy.
Lucas.
He really is. He's a nurse he's a physician's assistant. When I hurt my back, he was the one that came in. He was in the ER. It was on Father's Day, and I stumble in the ER. I can't move, and Luke's like, "Here, let me give you something." And I don't know what the hell he gave me, but it put me on. It made my pain go away.
There you go.
And then he came back in and gave me some more. I said, "All right, send me home now." But no, I've always really liked Luke.
Yeah.
So athletic.
Oh, Luke's freaking awesome.
So athletic and strong. And he's another guy that didn't play any sports when he was a kid.
No?
No.
Oh, no, he's rode skateboards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's got tree trunk legs.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, for a 180-pound dude, 180, 185-pound dude, he's got huge legs. But, well, that's awesome. So tell me what in the last part of this, I want to know, what are your goals for the gym?
The goals for me have always been the same. It's just to spread jiu-jitsu, and just the way that it has changed my life for the positive. I just want to give that to people, and I'd like to get the school going as big as I can, and I'd like to create a competition team where we all travel and go do tournaments, and just build it all up and create a family type situation.
How many students do you have right now?
About 100.
About 100, and then of those 100, how many of them are kids? You said about 35? Mm-hmm. So you have about 65 adults.
Yeah, at least.
That come in periodically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then how many can your current space hold?
Oh, man, the deal with the space is even Helion space is just a little bit bigger than ours, and the space isn't the issue because if you start overgrowing it, you just add more classes.
Add classes.
Yeah,
At different times. Right.
So I mean, I think that the space is great, and I think maybe when we got a 3-year lease, so in 2 more years when the lease is up, if the people next door go out of business, maybe I try to get that spot too. But I'm not real concerned about a bigger spot because everybody doesn't come at once.
Right.
So like this morning we had a pretty big morning class, we had about 20 people there, and then in the nighttime there could be 30, 35 people there, and it's still like that's only 35 people.
You could fit 35 in there pretty good.
You could fit 50 people, 60 people in there pretty easily.
Really?
Like on Sundays on open mats, sometimes there's 60 people there, and it's we're cool.
You can roll.
Yeah. You got somebody next to you.
You may get a foot in the face. It happens.
Yeah, but
it happens.
like 60 is a lot for one class.
Yeah. So, short-term goal is how many students?
Short term meaning like a year.
Yeah.
I'd like to get another 100.
200?
Yeah.
Okay. Long-term, sky's the limit. Take as many as you can get.
Well, I mean, every Healy and Gracie gym has more than 400.
Really? So that's where you want to be like every other one of them.
Yes.
Why not?
Yeah. Homolo in Houston, he's got 750 members.
And so does Helian come in and do seminars?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hogan was just here.
How often will you have him in?
At least twice a year.
Twice a year?
Yeah. Every 6 months is what I want to do.
Okay. Now, will you also have people like Hanato come in, or do you just only?
No, I'm going to keep it with my lineage.
Yeah. Sure.
So I mean, it's it is what it is. Nothing against anybody else.
No, Hanato's a great guy, and his jiu-jitsu's great.
It is.
It's fantastic. Those guys are great.
But Helian is Carlos Gracie's son.
Right. It's a big deal.
So it's like if I'm going to have somebody come to a seminar, I'm going to have somebody that learned from the dude that's dad invented it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So not saying I'm not open to having other people, but I would, like our lineage is our lineage, and I would prefer to support the black belts in our lineage.
Yeah.
And
so the black belts in your lineage, give me some. You got Helian, you got Hogan.
Homolo. There's at a noon class just at Helian's place, there's 30 black belts.
Right.
That are all like, multiple stripes on there.
And then you could really call any of them and say, "Hey, I want to do a seminar," and then they come in and they'll do it.
Yeah,
and they'll do it like a couple nights.
Usually one
night.
Yeah, but my relationship with Hogan and Helian is getting to where like I talk to him all the time, and I'd prefer to have them come.
Sure.
For the students.
Yeah. Yeah. To have the guy whose name is on the front is a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, and those guys are so cool. They're super cool. That's why I wanted to be. It was never a question if I had an academy who I would be under.
Right.
It was never a question because of how they treated me for the last 12 years.
Right.
It was just like they were so nice and so cool, and I was like, no, that's a great example of how you should be as a person.
Sure.
Humble,
all of them.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. John, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I think you're going to do fantastic with the academy. Obviously, you're going to keep knocking the cover off the ball at the tattoo shop. And you're probably going to do with the academy. Here, I was listening to this Bedros. What's his last name? Killian Bedros. And he's like, listen, people who are successful, that doesn't happen by accident. There's things that you're doing, there's habits that you've adopted, there's philosophies that you've adopted that allowed your tattoo shop, Revelation Tattoo, to become as successful as it is, and I guarantee you're going to carry that over into the jiu-jitsu space as well. And I think not only will you continue to grow as a competitor, but you're also going to, that school's going to blow up. I really think that.
I agree.
Yeah, everybody wants to be successful, and nobody wants to put the work in.
Right. Right. Well,
that's what they don't get. They look at it and they're like, yeah, well, that didn't just happen.
No.
So, yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on here, though. It's been fun.
It's
good seeing you guys again.
It's been great. Thank you very much. Good luck to you, buddy.
Thanks, man.
All right.